resources now that it's so hard to choose because we have too many. There are teachers online, there are programs online where qualified teacher teach, and there are programs online, and there are great books. I didn't have as many 20 years ago or even 15 years ago, but in the last 5 years, I will say it exploded, the materials, the programs. So it's not a challenge anymore.
Oh, wonderful. That's good to know because I thought differently. Give me just a second. I want to make sure we had to start over and I need to make sure. Would you ask, Rodica, would you ask one of the your children to see if they can see us live on Facebook?
Um, just a moment, I can check. Um, because no one is here, so I can ask.
Okay, yes. So it is.
Moment.
I see that we are live on Facebook. Want to make sure. So I see it now. It says Paulette is live. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, good. So we might have come in midway because we restarted. So we might have hopped in midway, okay? Just so you know that. All
Okay,
right.
so whether you homeschool or not, maybe the child struggles in school, but you're not able to homeschool because
Mhm,
not everyone is able to homeschool for
mhm.
financial reasons or
Right.
dynamics of the family. But like I said, homeschooling applies to every parent. If you read or you teach your child, you homeschool. So if the child struggles in school with something,
Mhm.
you can Google for a writing program or for a
Okay.
math program. I can
Okay.
like we are using a program called Unlock Math. It is an
Unlock math.
online
Okay.
program. Yes, it is an online program with teachers, tutors online if the child has any questions or doesn't understand. So
Oh,
if whether you homeschool or not, and the child in school is struggling with math, I highly recommend this program because unlike many other programs, they have live tutors from 8 to 4 that
oh,
can
good.
help the child, with the questions, and they have videos and it's graded automatically. So that's how it works. And it's the same for writing. You can find programs for anything now.
So anything, and that actually was my next question. So it's a good segue. List at least three strong resources. You just listed one that you use that has been very instrumental for with your kids.
Yes, so one of the reason I homeschooled also is because all my children, five of them, are very different. They have different strengths, different weaknesses too. So a program that works great for one may not work for another. So
Okay,
another great program for math is called Mr. D.
Mr. D.
D. It's college preparatory math program, and like I said, whether you homeschool or not, it is a good program to supplement if the child struggles in school. Um,
Good.
for writing, I recommend IEW, Institute of Excellence in
I
Writing.
IW.
It is a college preparatory course. So it has been proven for many years. Um, for science, I use a Christian Science because for
Okay.
me it is important to teach science from a biblical point of view,
Exactly. Yes.
and
What do
it's
you use for that? What do you use for your science
yes, it's
subject?
called apologia. Apologia science is very deep and very good.
Okay. So these are great resources. Go on. I'm taking notes so we can repeat it as others hop on the podcast.
And one of the most important things you can do for a child education is reading books, a
Okay,
lot
reading.
of books every day.
Okay.
So one of the programs that have very good books is called Sunlight, Sunlight.
Yes.
And we use many books from them. And another program is called Heart of Dakota. So
Wow.
whether you homeschool or not, these two programs have very, very good books that enhances the vocabulary of a student, even if they go to school. If the parent can just look at their website and choose some books, they can go to the library because books are expensive. They can go
Right.
to the library, borrow books, and make sure the child reads good books.
There you go. So you just got one, two, three, four, five resources from Miss Rodica, but she said the most important was reading,
Reading
right?
is,
So
yes, every day.
yeah, get your children. So that's for me too. I need to read every day. I try to read 20 pages. I don't always do it, but I try to read, and it's so true because it expands our minds. We learn the information it's just getting in there, even when you think you're not absorbing. Because I've read some things casually on the plane, just for the sake, to entertain myself, and I will recall information when I'm like super tired on a plane. So she said reading is important. Apologia is the faith-based science curriculum she uses. IW, did I get that right? IW
IW, yes.
is another one. And then Mr. D, just to name a few. We're going to link them in the description so you have them to help your children. I had a question just now that just went out of my head. You said something. Oh, I was going to say the libraries are still open, guys.
It's
I went to
free.
the library one day and I said to this lady, I heard the libraries are closing all across the state of Florida. She goes, where did you hear that from? So if you're like me and you heard misinformation, don't believe it. Do not believe it. The libraries are open. Take your children to the libraries. So now let's speak to the moms. Let's go back. Let's go back like to the beginning. You start this at age 6, you said, but it happened. I wouldn't say an accident. Like this is God's purpose for your family.
Yes.
But for the person who has not started yet, their child might be 10, maybe 14, and they're looking at you, they're listening, and they're saying, but it's too late for me to get my child prepared to go to college tuition free. What advice would you have for that particular mom, for those particular moms?
It is never too late to start, and if they plan to homeschool, in Florida, we are very blessed to have an easy process to homeschool and register for homeschooling. And we are also very blessed because starting about 2 years ago, homeschoolers have a scholarship.
Oh,
Homeschoolers are homeschooled starting in preschool to 12th grade, have a state scholarship of about $8,000 a year. You can use this money for books, for tutoring, music lessons, sports, and many, many other things like,
and this is through the state of Florida, you said?
yes, yes.
So that could be broad. So let's tell us exactly where we can go. What website? I want to write that down.
So
Put it in
you
the chat.
have to step up for students.
Say it again.
Step up for students.
Set up for students. We're gonna put this information in the chat, y'all, so you can go back and you can get the resources. Also, for those who might not be here or those who might say it's not enough, I need hands-on. We're going to do a workshop online, but it's going to be private, so the link won't be shared with anybody. The reason being is because you will invest, number one. Number two, you get to ask your particular questions and you get tailor-made, you get the playbook so that you can possibly help your child or yourself, right? Ms. Rodica talked about, well, she didn't particularly give the first steps, but she said, this is what you can do. Ms. Rodica, if you will, what is the very first step at any age, a parent should take in helping their student to go to college tuition free?
Like I said, it's never too late to start reading. Like if the child is 10, 12, or even older, it's never too late to push them to get some books. Go to the website I mentioned before.
Okay.
Because, there is so much junk. It's like junk food, right?
Yeah.
So much junk books. It's like junk food, but it's junk books that you don't learn anything, and they are not, I don't recommend them. So you have to choose good resources with good
Okay.
vocabulary. So these two websites they have very good quality books,
Okay.
and you can go, you don't have to buy from them, you can go to the library and borrow. It's never too late to read, because reading
Reading.
is the key ingredient for a child's success in the future. Like, my children know this quote by heart because I repeated to them, I think, 100 times.
Yeah.
um, not all not all readers, not, I don't know if you understand me. Aidan,
Right.
Aidan, can you come?
Now we call in the children.
Just to make sure I pronounce and say the correct quote. Who said this quote? Not all. Come here. Okay, so this is my youngest. This is my baby. His
Oh,
name
the
is
baby's
Aidan.
on camera. Hi, Aiden.
Can you say that quote to the readers? Not all.
Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers.
Can you say louder and not so
Oh,
fast?
Not all leaders. Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers.
wow.
Did you
Oh,
understand that? So
I
not
do.
all readers are
Our
leaders,
leaders. Yeah.
but all leaders
Leaders are
are
readers.
readers.
Oh, that's powerful. So if you want, like parents, let's say this right, let's pause and say this right here. Parents, if you see your child has a destiny to lead, or they desire to be in a leadership role, reading is key, because that's what she said. Everybody can read. Go to the library, pass time, and you mightn't be a leader. But if you are a leader, well, chances are, if you read well, you'll become a leader. Because then, oh my gosh, that is so profound. Somebody put that in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, because I love that. I'm going to Google to see who said that. Thank you.
Oh, President, Aidan, do you remember who said that? Oh, Truman. Yes. See, he knows.
Oh,
Harry Truman. Yeah.
there you go. Look at, he's so young and he's quoting a president. How old is Aiden?
He's 11.
Wow. You did such an amazing job. He'll be the next one. Now, let's talk about how can mothers, I know you said read, obviously get their kids to read, but how can mothers start preparing now? And if you answer this already, please excuse me, but like what steps would you say they can take to start preparing their children for not homeschool, but for college now at any age?
Okay, so many students struggle with math as well. So after reading, one of the most important things to prepare for college, whether you homeschool or not, this problem is in both homeschooling and public school and private school and everyone. Math is a very important subject for college prep. So make sure your child knows, understands, comprehends the topics they learn. And if they don't, they may implement. There are so many programs online.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, the one I mentioned, there is another one called Stacks on Math, and there are just so many that you can have a subscription so the child can practice and make sure they understand.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, the acceptance for college and scholarship is measured by the standardized tests like ACT and
Okay.
SAT. Those are one of the most important tests for college, for acceptance, for entrance, and for scholarships.
Okay.
So, of course, there is a lot of math in them. So you have to be really on top with the math. So what I recommend to prepare for college, make sure they are good with math, and if not, go to the library, ask the librarian what resources they have. Sometimes they have free tutoring, and there are many programs online. Sometimes they are more expensive. Sometimes you can even find free worksheets.
Oh,
So
good.
another what I recommend also for scholarship and for college is volunteering. Volunteering is very
Yes.
important. Very important, because even if you are doing great in math and reading and get a good ACT score, in fact, I know someone that got a perfect ACT score, 36, and he was not accepted to UF. UF now is very hard to get accepted to UF, University of Florida. They have a very low acceptance rate. So even if he got the perfect score in ACT, he was rejected.
Wow.
And the admission counselor said because he has no volunteering in his application, no volunteering. So this is very important to show like a well-rounded student. It's not enough just to have good grades and good GPA. You have to have volunteering, some work. Work as well is good, and just show more about your character, determination, not just
Not
good.
just smart.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing you say for the parents to get ready, read, get your children to fall in love with reading. Math is essential because they have to take the standardized test. So in order to pass the test for college, you can't get in free if you can't pass the test. So that's probably, to answer the question, what's the first step is make sure they can pass the test. And a lot of our kids, they're intelligent, but sometimes I think that school is like fluff, right? Even as a teacher, I think you go to public school and you do so much and you learn so much, but maybe you don't learn what you need to learn. So reading is key, she said. Math, make sure your kids understand the basics and build on that. And lastly, she said volunteers. So let me start here because this entire family, as I mentioned in the beginning, are an integral part of the charity work that God has called me to do, called I Believe in Miracles. And I could remember from the time they were so little, like now you see Evan with facial hair and all that, but bass in his voice. So when he was little, they were stuffing socks. We gave them jobs. They showed up early in the morning. As soon as we got into the building, we throw all the donations on the stage, and these young kids are like stuffing socks for the homeless and putting in lotion. They volunteered, and they have been before it was even needed. So clearly, the family understand the importance of having them volunteer. So please get your children plugged in at your church, a community center, somewhere where they could see the world as it is, right? They get to see the good and the bad. They get to work with adults. They get to use their gifts. And even that, I think, prepares them for leadership as well. So thank you for throwing that in there, Ms. Rodica. That's so important. Tell me a little bit about the children now. We talked about going to school for free, volunteering, what parents need to do. Tell me about the beautiful 3 children that have gone through college and how they're so different in education, this whole journey that you talked about.
So the first one, the oldest, just graduated in December with a bachelor in cybersecurity, and he's doing his master also in cybersecurity and AI.
Yes.
He has a wonderful job that he loves, and he's actually moving out tomorrow. He's moving to St. Pete.
Congratulations, Evan.
Yeah. And the next one, he had and still has some learning disabilities, and the teacher, when he was young in preschool, said to put him in a special needs children school, but it did not go too well. So that's another reason why I started to homeschool and teach him myself. And
that's Luke, right? Luke?
Yes, Luke. And he's now doing wonderful at USF. he actually he was awarded the Organic Chemistry Award and scholarships. Every semester he gets so many scholarships from his department because organic chemistry is very, very hard.
And
The average in organic chemistry is 60, the average. He gets 98. He has 98, 99. So he's doing
amazing.
wonderful. So, like I said, this is not about homeschooling, whether you homeschool or not. This is about the power of pushing your children and squeezing out everything that can be squeezed from them, because every child has ability to learn. There is no limits on what they can do. You just have to find their strengths and work on these strengths, put the weaknesses in the back and work on the strengths. And so what? No,
the third one, your daughter now, she's
she
about to graduate, correct?
Yes, she's 92% completed with a bachelor as well, and she's planning to get a master. She's only 18.
Look at that, guys, 18, only 18.
And they all receive full tuition scholarships, so they take advantage and stay on campus. They love the campus.
Right.
And one of the books I brought it here to show that helped with scholarship is this book.
University. What ultimate? It's backwards, so I can't read it. Yeah, read it for me. Read it.
The ultimate scholarship book.
Okay.
This is from 2020, but many of them are still on. So there are many scholarship. Of course, first there is the merit scholarship, Bright Future, that we have in Florida. Most states have, is a merit scholarship that you get when you obtain a good ACT score.
Right.
But that only covers tuition. Besides tuition, there are many other fees, when you go to university. And there are scholarships like from your church, maybe. Some churches offer scholarship from 500 to 7,000.
Wow.
Scholarship from your county. You just have to Google scholarship and Google your county. And put senior scholarship, your county. Then there are many scholarships from lawyer offices.
Wow, I'm writing this down. This is some good information here. Church, the government, you said lawyers?
Lawyers, many lawyers offer scholarship, and they are very generous. And your city, your town, they have many private scholarships. Just Google senior college scholarship and put your town.
College scholarship. Good. I'll also put this in the chat. That is cool. So I'm hearing church, you can get scholarship from your city, your county, lawyers, churches. And the easiest way to do this, which we'll put in the chat, is seniors college scholarship and then / your town. Is that correct?
Yes. And then there are scholarship for everything. Scholarship from being Black, like you type Black or Spanish. Scholarship for having autism.
Wow.
Google autism, scholarship senior.
Wow.
Type scholarship for
everything.
Yes.
So parents, you're hearing it from the expert. This woman has put 3 students through college, and kudos to you for holding Luke's hand and not giving up on him and putting him in a special needs class, because now he's getting 90s in the chemistry class. I don't know if I even passed chemistry, but that's another story.
Yes.
And it's, we don't need to accept the labels of learning and disability for our children and our families. Everybody's unique and everybody's different. And I'll share a story, something about me that I didn't know for years. I didn't know this till I came to America. But I think one of the principal of my school knew it. and maybe he didn't have the word for it, and it's dyslexic, dyslexia. Oh God, now I can't even say it. So when I was younger, I didn't know I was dyslexic, but I always transposed numbers. I still do, but even more when I was younger. So if somebody would say a number to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they say, Paula, what's the number? 4, 3, 2, 1. No. I said 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, no, yeah, I said 4, 3, 2, 1. I would like perfectly repeat something backwards. In my head, I'm saying it to you exactly as I thought you said it. But Mr. Lewis, I don't know if he's alive or dead anymore. I want to say thank you, because he realized that I had this formation of writing, recording, and saying things, sometimes backwards, sometimes mix up in between. And he started working with me to speak. And he's the first time I became a speaker is because he took me to classes to learn to speak, and I had to focus on the order of the words. But I never heard the word dyslexic or anything. I've never heard him said that. But he said to me, you turn things around, you transpose things. I said, oh, I do? I didn't know I did it because I didn't hear myself. So in speaking, he made me write my speeches out. Then he made me say it out loud. And oftentimes I would write it correctly and read it incorrectly. So that's a disability that was never, ever diagnosed in my country, much less my small town. I came from a tiny, tiny, tiny island. So I'm thankful, though, that there are teachers like him and parents like my parents who didn't give up and say, oh, this child needs to do whatever. Because I had a brilliant, curious mind, but somehow things got jumbled up in there. And even to this day, I have to think hard, especially if I'm tired, to get the words out in the right way. So, like, I came to America and they said, that's a disability. I said, oh, really? I did not know. I did not know. So I have dyslexia wonderfully, and I accept it and I live with it, and it is what it is. So parents, find a way to teach your children, because Mr. Lewis was the first person who figured out my learning style. And then he taught me how I learn, so that when I went to high school, I was able to teach my teachers. I told my teachers, well, this is why it doesn't make sense to me. And this is how my mind works. And that's how I told my teachers. So I don't know, I got through it. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Kudos to you, Lou. Is there anything else? If there's one thing, like when people watch, those who are watching now and on the replay, if there's one thing you can leave with a parent about the whole, let's just say sending your students or your children to university tuition free, what is that one thing you would say?
So I will say to never give up, when they reach the age of preteens and teens, they tend to do too much of this.
Oh, yes.
Too much screen. And it's not good. It's not good for their mental health. It's not good for their physical health, because they need a lot of exercise. Exercise, not just good for the body, but good for the mind.
Okay.
So they can retain more information that they learn in their school. As a parent, you have to limit. I don't say to not allow at all, because this is what this generation lives through the screen, right?
Okay.
Find there are ways to limit. There are programs
limit. Okay.
that you can use to limit the access. This is very important in my opinion, because they can waste a lot of times on the screen. And because of that, there is no more time to read. And like I said, reading is very important, and math as well, if they want to prepare for college, and not just college, life.
Right.
Maybe God doesn't lead them to go to college, but for a career, for a job, no matter what the destination is, you need to be well prepared in life. And in my opinion, it's good to limit, as a parent, it's good to limit the access to screen.
Limit the
So,
screen. I love
and
it.
read whether you go to college or not.
Read, 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 read. Okay, I'm going to take your advice and read more.
Yes, we should all read.
I do. I need to read more. I have books. I do. I put myself on a calendar to read one book a month. And I always get close to ending the book and I get distracted and I never finish. So what I did was I started purchasing very thin books. So I can feel accomplished. I'm like, I got to accomplish something. But I
And
agree. I would like to read more. Parents, let me
one
just
of,
go ahead.
sorry, one of the things I forgot to mention,
Mhm.
that is very important if they consider to go to college, and even if they don't, is dual enrollment. In Florida, we are blessed to have
Yes, yes.
dual enrollment. What this means is that we are allowed to take college classes during high school for free, and even the books are free. So
Wow.
you can finish an AA Associate in Arts degree for free, essentially for free. And that can shorten your education by 2 years, because when you go to do your bachelor, you only have to do 2 years, and
Right.
also is less expensive. And if you don't go to college, it's always good to have at least an AA degree.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's so important because I think the first time when I was teaching back in the day, I didn't didn't hear about it. I never heard about it. And I went to a graduation of a friend's some child, and there was one child, it was an Indian child who walked across the stage for high school, and they said, "Oh, so she has her AA degree." I'm like, "What?" This is since then I started telling all the parents about it. So it's just so crucial, and that's a part of getting free education. Since they're going to school anyways, whether it's public school, private school, homeschooling, get the public school, I guess, get that 2 years done with while they're in high school.
Yes.
Right? Get it done with. That's less time. And that way, if they want to go to school longer, they can spend the next 2 years doing their master's degree and then not in college on campus all
Yes.
these years. Before we go quickly, I forgot to mention the master's degree, and I want us to quickly speak on that. You talk about Evan, like you said, master's degree is not as easy to get scholarships for the traditional way, but you shared with me there is a strategy to do it.
Yes, so there are a few degrees usually like in engineering or just very few degrees that you can have scholarships. And when you're finishing your bachelor, in your last year of bachelor, they send
Mhm.
you emails that there are scholarship, but it's very rare. So the best and most sure way to get scholarship for masters is to find a job that covers 100% of your master degree, like a job with the state or a job, find a job that covers the tuition, because it's very, very expensive for masters.
Okay, so you're saying do your college with the scholarship and
Yes,
head right into a job that offers master's degree.
yes, and
Well,
never pay for a bachelor degree, because
no,
there
not at
are so
all.
many scholarship, like millions of dollars. I was reading an article. There are millions of dollars that are not claimed in scholarships.
Why do you think that is, though?
People
Why do you
don't
think
know.
they
People
don't
don't
know?
research. The teenagers, is just 18 years old. They are not thinking to Google and search for scholarships, and the parents don't know.
Right.
So
Knowing
there are
is the
so
key.
many available, but people are not aware. They are not educated. They just are not aware, and you can totally get your bachelor for free. And masters, I forgot to mention that for master degree, Evan's first semester is covered by Bright Future, because since he finished dual enrollment in high school, Bright Future pays 120 credits. So
Wow.
he hasn't finished those because he did dual enrollment. So he only finished like 60 at USF. So Bright Future is a state merit scholarship.
Right.
It still cover 60 credits for a master degree.
Masters. Okay. The student
Essentially,
used to.
is one semester of master is covered. So he
Oh,
just does one.
good.
So when you do dual, this is another advantage of doing dual enrollment in high school, is because then when you go do your bachelor, you only have 2 years, and then Bright Future, you still have a lot of credits left that Bright Future will cover for
Okay.
the
For a
masters.
master. Oh, I love that. That's what you call strategic. That's cool right there.
But
This is great. And I
to
go ahead.
qualify for Bright Future, they require an ACT or SAT test.
Okay.
And now, starting last year in Florida, the Florida Board of Education introduced a new test called Classical Learning Test. And I highly recommend it because you can take it from home. It's proctored, of course, with a camera,
Okay.
but the math is easier. The reading is harder. So I recommend this test for students who struggle a little bit with math, but are very good readers.
Okay. That's good. There were so many tips here. And I want to talk about the money aspect really, really quickly because and I shared with a few people that like I have a niece right now who she's now in medical school. She did her bachelor's full ride. I shared with that on my video on Sunday. Just so proud of her. So to have them come from the Bahamas to America and study, and she had so many tips for me on, she's like, Auntie, this is what we did and this is what we did, and talk about how her housing was not covered. So she became an RA and then it was covered that way. This we don't have time. We don't have time to cover all of it. So but the money is there. I had no idea that millions of dollars go unclaimed. Let's claim this money, people. Let's claim the money that's there for our children. Why take 50,000, 60, some $100,000 out of your pocket? Why work 3, 4 jobs? Entrepreneurs, you're burning the midnight lamp. Why do that just to put your child through college? And you're making yourself sick. And you won't, you want to be there for them to graduate college and to enjoy their lives and their grandkids. So let's learn how to get free tuition. Now I know we're at time right now. I know we couldn't cover everything on this podcast, but we plan to do a podcast where you can invest and it'll be private, where you can ask questions like specific questions. My child is in 6th grade. My child is in 11th grade. This is where we want to go to school. You can ask specific questions. You can get all this link. You can get a whole entire a playbook written out, sent to you as a PDF, so that you can now, with the link, with resources that Ms. Rodica has used, that I have used. If you're coming in the country, that's been more my expertise. Like the ones that are coming from out of the country, that's where I flourish, just helping them to go the route and save money, because it's a whole different ball game if you're coming from another country to go to school in America. I could tell you. And you'll spend a whole lot of money, so you better learn how to get scholarships. And she specializes right here in the U.S. This has just been amazing to me. Thank you so much, Ms. Rodica. I appreciate you. If you are interested at all in learning more and getting the playbook and coming back to our workshop, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be online, but you'll see other faces. Won't be like this interview style. It will be learning style. It will be you asking questions. It will be you getting the information you need for your family so that you can save money and that you can be a blessing to others, and you're not putting all this money in education when there's millions out there that you can use. In Jesus' name. Ms. Rodica, any last word?
No, I'm excited to educate people because I have been through this journey before, and
Many times.
yes.
Many, many times. Well, thank you. I thank you. I thank
My
Paul. Paul is
pleasure.
my husband. I thank the children. Thank you for allowing me to share your story. I know that it would help people. If you're watching this, please share this with others. And we hope to see you on the follow-up workshop where you can get the detailed questions. And if you're not interested, like I had a lady who told me today, oh, this sounds interesting, but I don't have children and I don't want to go back to college, but maybe you know of someone. Have them put in the chat college or sign me up, something like that, so that we can reach out and get information to them. It has been great. We thank you for hopping on. We love you so much.